we are into the back half of November, which means that the holidays are quickly approaching. U.S. Thanksgiving coming up in a couple weeks. Canadian Thanksgiving just passed, and we're heading into Christmas season. That means holiday parties and office Christmas parties and meeting up with friends and family and all the stuff and all the good things. All amazing, exciting, fun time of year. However, it is also the time of year, clearly, where people tend to gain the most weight. And contrary to what many people believe, you're not, on average, most people are not always in this slight calorie surplus where they're always gaining weight at some rate of like a quarter of a pound a week or something like that. It typically happens in bunches, and the most common bunch time for this to happen is the holiday time because of all the things that we just mentioned. So many holiday parties, so many gatherings. The weather's not as conducive to walking around and being outside, so activity goes down, alcohol goes up, all those things. Now, this will also happen at various other points in the year, but this will be more on an individual basis if you've got like a string of birthday parties, vacations, a string of travel for work or something like that. So it doesn't affect everyone collectively, but collectively the holidays kind of gets everyone. And so what will often happen through the holiday season, people will gain, 5, 7, maybe 10 pounds. That'll be a lot, but gain a little bit of weight and then just like not really lose it afterwards. Even though we have the January push of New Year, New Me, fitness goal, New Year's resolution type things, on average doesn't happen, and that is how weight just creeps up a little bit over time. And so today we're going to talk about how to make that not happen. Now, this does not mean that we are necessarily trying to lose weight during the holidays. Like, we have to accept the fact that there is a middle ground between gaining weight and losing weight, and that is what we would call maintenance. And maintenance is where you want to spend the vast majority of your life. You want to lose weight, that's great. You're going to get to a point where you want to stop losing weight. You can't just continually lose weight. And you can't just continually gain weight either if you're trying to gain muscle. Like, you're not going to put on, you have an amazing year and you put on, 15 to maybe 20 pounds of muscle if in a phenomenal year. Like, you're not just going to keep doing that every single year. So you want to spend the majority of your life at maintenance. And that can be also something you aim for as well, especially when the deck is stacked against you, so to speak, in the holiday season, where, again, all the holiday parties, all these things, aiming for maintenance is a goal, and it's going to set you up for success rather than aiming to try and lose weight during the holidays where, again, the deck is stacked against you. So you're trying to do something that's like really hard to do. Obviously, it's possible if you're going to be disciplined and whatever enough, but we don't need to aim for that. Let's just try to not gain any weight. So we hit the new year with a fresh start. We hit the ground running. We don't have any negative feelings, and we kind of aim for the goal that is achievable. That's what I wanna end up here, because you'll still feel negatively or more negatively if you aim to lose weight during the holidays and then you end up maintaining, which by all counts would be like a great result and nothing wrong with that. But you missed, quote unquote, your goal. And that's going to bring some negative feelings and feelings of failure and all that kind of stuff. And we want to avoid those as much as possible. So to keep things positive, we want to aim for a goal that is good and achievable in this time. And that means maintaining your weight or body composition. Now, the overarching answer to all of this is being aware of what's about to happen, the hardships. That sounds so like extreme. Like, there's way harder things in life than trying to not gain weight over the holidays. But like the challenges that are coming your way in this realm, and then just having a semblance of a plan, at least, to attack it. That is the overwhelming best thing that's going to achieve this. All the ins and outs are things that we'll talk about, but they're like secondary. So as long as you're kind of even trying to maintain your weight, you will be way more successful than if you're not even really trying to. And the fact that you're listening to this means that you're already doing great. So as far as process things goes, you've accepted that we're going to aim for weight maintenance. To the best of your ability, keep up your gym routine. Now, again, obviously that sounds pretty obvious. But here's where the maintenance versus forwards progress things comes into play. If you can't keep up your regular gym routine because of time commitments or weather or any other reason, and your regular routine is going 4 days a week or even 5 days a week or 3 days a week, whatever it is, just because you can't hit all of the days, it doesn't mean that you should hit none of the days. Like if you can only get in 2 days a week or even 1 day a week, then still get that day. Don't just skip all of your workouts because you can't fit the whole program in. One thing that is always true about maintenance is that it is a lot easier mechanically to maintain your fitness, like your gym progress, your strength progress. You need to lift with more volume and more intensity and more frequently and kind of be more on your game if you're trying to make improvements, if you're trying to get stronger, if you're trying to get bigger, those kind of things. But if you're just trying to maintain what you got and not take a back step in the gym, the volume required and just like the intensity required is a lot less. Like we talk about progressive overloading, you should always be trying to, lift a little bit harder than last time type of thing. But if you're just trying to keep things as they are for this 6 weeks, you don't really have to increase your weights. You don't have to increase your reps. You don't have to necessarily work harder than last time every time. And that makes things feel a lot easier. If you're doing sets with 100 pounds on whatever exercise, and next week you got to do 105, well, that's going to feel a little bit harder. And sometimes there's like the mental, I just don't feel like I got it today. So, 105 feels heavy and you got to kind of psych yourself up for that. If all you set out to do is go in to the gym and do what you did last time, then that one takes a huge mental burden off your head, because you don't have to psych yourself up to do something that you've already proven that you can do. And two, it's just physically less difficult because you've already done it. You know that you can do it. And it's not a more challenging stimulus than whatever that you did before. It's exactly the same. So understanding that just because you're not moving forwards, you're not moving backwards. Now, if we extrapolate this over a long enough timeline, you kind of are moving backwards, but in like a 6 weeks to 2 months, 3 months kind of period, that's not the case at all. So accept that maybe you'll have to do less lifts / workouts per week, and that those workouts can be less intense and not necessarily pushing the needle and kind of going balls to the wall. And that's okay. And you won't take a back step by doing that. You will pretty easily be able to maintain your strength and fitness levels at a lower frequency, at a lower intensity, and a lower overall volume in your workouts. So that can be less workouts per week. It can be shorter workouts, whatever the case is that fits for your schedule and for the, just the general wherewithal that you have of tolerance for workouts in this period. So that needs to be pretty clear. Now, if you're not going to be constrained by the schedule wise and you can get the same amount of workouts in, you should really be using this period to seriously be packing on some strength and some muscle, because on average you'll probably be consuming some more calories, just be it more desserts, more food overall. And you can let that fuel your workouts. And this will be a good time to put those calories to use, so to speak, and really hit some big strength numbers, really hit some big volume numbers, cardio, whatever thing it is that you're training towards. They put those calories to use and make some progress in the gym. So you can take this, you can go both ways with this, and it's going to depend on your schedule, how you're feeling, how much time you've got, how much energy, both physically and mentally, you've got for all this stuff. But if you can let it rip, then by all means, let it rip. Put the calories to use, and you're going to have some fun workouts and some pretty sick pumps over the next couple of weeks. So I would look forward to that. And ideally, that's the case, right? Ideally, we're not in a situation where we have to only work out once a week instead of 5 times a week like normal, or whatever it is for you. Ideally, that's the case. But if not, just know that if you can only get in twice and you can only do 30-minute workouts, that's fine. You're not going to lose anything. And And that's okay. Maintenance is okay, and oftentimes maintenance is progress in and of itself. Because again, we want to live at maintenance for the most part. So if you can't practice it during these little periods, the 10 years of maintenance that you want to maintain afterwards is going to be really hard. So you got to practice it at these little moments. Sticking on the workout theme of this, obviously the whole food and nutrition and mental aspect of this is going to be a little bit more important. Man, I feel like I'm talking really fast and didn't even have that much coffee today, but I'm in a little bit of a rush. I've got a flight to catch later. So I apologize if you're listening to this on like a faster speed and you want to slow it down, but my bad. On the workout side of things, I am a big fan of getting training sessions in, and like hard training sessions in on the days, on the days where you know that you're going to be eating out. You've got like it's Thanksgiving Day, Christmas Day, the big days where you're going to overeat. Some people kind of like don't like this idea. Not that they don't like working out, but I specifically like working out because it makes the thing a little bit more guilt-free. Now, slippery slope there with eating disorders and all that stuff. You're not trying to exercise the calories away, and that's not how it works. But if you're not in that category of people, one, the food will fuel that training session, even if it's afterwards. Like you'll more gains, kind of shuttling into the muscles. Number two, you will typically be a little bit more hungry, so you get to make some more room for more of the good food that you're about to eat. And three, again, is just that mental piece of like, hey, I earned this. That second piece of pie, yeah, I earned it. And while that's not really true, if it at least can limit some guilt, then I think that's okay. But obviously, there's a slippery slope here, and so I don't want to speak for everyone on this thing. But that works for me. Not that I feel guilt about it anyways. I actually just feel good about like getting a hard training session in and going to eat a big meal. Like in general, on a regular day, not holiday day, I like that feeling, especially if it's legs for me. If I hit a big leg workout, like that's a day where I feel like I want to eat after. And so if I'm going to go eat anyways, it's like, well, I might as well get a really good workout in, hit a hard lift, hit a heavy lift, and then I feel like I want to eat, so like I'm going to go eat anyways. Shuttle all that that nutrition into the muscles, and it's a good feeling. So that's my recommendation on that. It's not going to necessarily offset anything that you're doing, maybe by a little bit, like not zero. It doesn't not offset anything. You still burned some calories, you still did some good stuff, but more for the mental aspect and just for feeling good. You just get good pumps. It just feels good. So do things that, like, it's okay to just do things that make you feel good, and if it works, if you believe it, then it works, kind of thing. Limits to that, but run with it. Which that's another overarching theme. I was going to mention this at the end, and I'm sure I'll mention it again at the end of this episode. But another way to think about all of this, and I'll segue this into talking about some of the food strategies, is you've got to make decisions at these events and just over the days between events about how do you want to feel both mentally and physically, and understand that your actions and your decisions are directly responsible to that, for that, for like, I don't put a percentage on it, 90% of that. Of course, there's outside of your control things that can affect those things. But for the most part, the way you feel physically and mentally are largely controllable by your decisions and your actions. So you don't need to ask yourself this before you do every single thing. But if you want to feel good, make decisions that are going to make you feel good. And you know what those things are. Having the fourth piece of pie might make you feel good right now for the next 3 minutes, and then might make you feel shit physically for the rest of the night and the rest of the day tomorrow, and it's going to make you feel shit mentally the next day. You feel guilty, you feel whatever, and all the things. So you got to like weigh those decisions against the immediate pleasure of the moment. And this is not to say, like, how to describe this. Having the first piece of pie or cake or dessert or whatever, one piece of cake is not going to derail you and make you, one, gain so much weight, or two, feel so terrible and have terrible digestion and bad energy and all that stuff. And so the downside is pretty low and the upside is pretty high. It's delicious, it's enjoyable with everyone, all that stuff. And then there's like diminishing returns after that. The second piece is like not as enjoyable as the first piece, starting to get into a little bit of maybe it's going to affect my digestion and my gut later on and tomorrow. And then the third piece, and it just keeps going on. So these are the decisions that you have to make. And so if you can make the decisions that make you feel good, both physically and mentally, more often than not, you're going to come out on top. Let's talk about nutrition. Now, on the day-to-day basis, like on the non-holiday days, just keep your nutrition normal. I wouldn't be tracking calories during this period unless that's like a thing that you already do that is pretty routine for you and like pretty easy to do. Then do it on like the non-indulging days. On the indulging days, it's going to be just pretty like difficult to do. You don't know what other people made or what's in restaurant foods and all that kind of stuff. So track them if you want and just try and like stay at maintenance, or if you're really diligent on your tracking, stay like a little bit below maintenance at a slight deficit, just so that you're giving yourself some buffer room. But as far as amounts, just like eat normally, eat healthy foods, try and keep it clean. Like don't have the extra cookies, don't have the leftovers for like 6 days in a row. The food leftovers are typically fine. Like all of these meals, Thanksgiving, Christmas, whatever other holidays, you're having like some type of meat, probably some type of vegetable, some type of potatoes or rice or pasta or something like that. Like the meal itself is not actually that unhealthy or like that high in calories or that whatever. It's the desserts and all the extra stuff that, and the alcohol and all the extra stuff that comes with it. So if you're having those leftovers, yes, by all means, like continue to have that until it's done. Don't waste food and all that stuff. But the desserts, like if there's half a cake left over and you take it home, it's okay to throw it out. Like it's all right. And you're not hurting anybody by doing that. You're hurting yourself by continuing to eat it after it's not really fresh and not even that good anymore, and it's just there and you feel guilty and like you're just hurting yourself. So throw it out, get rid of it. So just keep your food normal on the non-indulging days. On the indulging days, again, a thing that I am a fan of, but slippery slope, eating disorder wise, and all that stuff. This is where intermittent fasting comes into play a lot, and I find it extremely useful. Don't eat or eat very minimal until dinner time or whatever time of day is the actual celebration. You just save your calories. This is how we get around the counting calories thing. If you don't eat and you can, your maintenance is like 2,200, 2,500 calories, whatever it is. If you barely eat, you're like 500 calories before you go in there. Well, you've got, give or take 2,000 calories to eat. And it's not impossible. You can easily do it. But like 2,000 calories is like a lot of food to eat in one sitting type of thing. So you give yourself that buffer room. Now, you might want to have a little bit, again, to fuel your training, just like some quick carbs or a protein shake or something like that, just to get through the training session that you're going to do in the morning. But I would keep food to a minimum overall and keep it like pretty low on the fats and just like, again, some simple quick carbs, fruits, stuff like that. And maybe just like a protein shake just to get that to fuel your training just to get through your training session. One thing that is so here's a, I'm struggling to say this because like I don't really believe that this is a thing that works, but it works for some people. It doesn't work for me. But having like a protein shake or a yogurt bowl or something like that before you go to the event to quote unquote fill yourself up on protein. Personally, I've never had a protein shake and been like, wow, I'm so stuffed. Like, yes, it's a lot of liquid if you like drink the whole thing at once, but like, give yourself 7 minutes and like go pee and it's, you're not full anymore. So for me, that's not a thing that's like, oh, I've had this protein shake and now I'm like, I'm full, I'm good. Because the downside of the whole intermittent fasting before you go eat thing is like now you're starving and then you get there and you just start stuffing your face and you can't stop. So if that's the kind of thing that you have, then obviously don't do that. Like have a little bit more food, but like keep the food light at least earlier in the day. If it's not zero, then they keep it light. Yeah, the protein shake thing, it works for some people. If it works for you, then by all means, like, go for it. But maybe having a snack of some sort and something that does fill you up a little bit more. I'm more on the side of, like, you got to actually chew something and feel like you ate something, and chew and swallow, rather than just like drinking something, even if it's a protein shake, even if it's like a big, thick protein shake with a bunch of other stuff in it. And this is where, like, yes, you had some calories, but calories are not always filling necessarily. You can have 500 calories of chips before dinner and be not full at all, and then just like have dinner, right? You do this every time you go to a Mexican restaurant. You have 500 calories of chips and salsa easily, and then you have dinner. So yes, calories matter, obviously, but calories don't necessarily equal to feeling full. It depends on the type of food, depends on how hungry you were before, it depends on the method of that food, be it like a drinkable thing or something you've got to chew. If it's something you have to chew more versus something you have to chew less, like yogurt kind of thing. Chewing yogurt, I'm not sure, but if you put some stuff in it that, some fruits or some whatever that's chewable, these things all affect the amount of fullness or satiety that you're going to get from that food. So pay attention to that, figure out what those things are for you, and use that strategy. But my strategy is basically not eating. I'll have like maybe protein shake, not necessarily right before I go, but just like after my workout, because that feels good. Bump up my protein a little bit for the day, because it's hard to get 150 grams of protein in one sitting, even though I'm going to eat a ton of food anyways. And some fruits, and that just, again, fuels my training, and then go from there. So, but if that's not going to like help you out, then obviously don't do that. Have like a little bit bigger of a meal, and maybe some people are on the other side of where it's like you've got to have a bigger meal so you don't stuff your face, so you actually have less food when you're there. I mean, the way that I see that is you're like removing some enjoyment from yourself. You're trying to limit the amount of food, and then you're only thinking while you're there about trying to not eat too much. I would rather set it up in a way where it's like you can pretty much eat as much as you want within reason. Like, you don't need to have 5 pieces of cake, but within reason, you can eat as much as you want. And that is from eating less the morning of, and maybe even eating less the next day. Like, doing a 24-hour fast is not like some revolutionary grand thing. It's just a way to let your body and whatever rest and reduce the total calories that you're intaking. So this is where intermittent fasting is really just a strong strategy for playing around with these things. And if you think about your calories on like a weekly basis, and you can kind of shift when you're eating and how much you're eating on certain days over the week, you can average out to being essentially at maintenance, even though you had 5,000 calories on the holiday, but you didn't have any calories the next day, and so that averages out to 2,500 calories a day. Some quick math. If you're not going to someone's house and the celebration is at a restaurant where you're going to be ordering food, it's a lot easier to not overeat, because like typically you're not just going to keep ordering stuff. Like, you get a portion of food, or if you're sharing, the food is ordered. It's not just like there's less than there will be at someone's house. But also look up the menu before you go. Most restaurants will have their menu posted online, or if they have a special Christmas menu or something, like look it up and make a decision about what you want to eat, and factor in, like, enjoy it. Don't just get the roasted chicken breast and vegetables. And if that's what you want, by all means, like, get that. But if that's not the thing that you want, don't choose that because it's the healthy option. Just choose something that, like, have your eyes open when you make the decision, rather than just choosing, something that sounds decent but is like really unhealthy, and that, again, it's weighing that how is this going to make me feel thing. So if it's like a really greasy thing, and that's what you want, and you like that kind of food, then by all means get it. But if not, and it's going to make you feel like shit after, then don't get it. You want to eliminate the chance of making a mistake, so to speak, in your decision-making process, where you order the thing because maybe the 3 people before you who are ordering ordered that, and you just like kind of, sure, I'll get that too, but you didn't really want it. And then so now you're both being like unhealthy and not even getting the thing that you want, which is the worst of the two. If it's like, if it's the thing that you really want and it's not the healthiest option, then okay, that's fine. It's a decision you made with your eyes open. But we don't want to end up in situations where we're eating things that we don't even want and it's not necessarily a healthy option. It's just two negatives. That being said, even at someone's house or at a restaurant, whatever, if something isn't really that good to you, don't eat it. Like those, crappy cookies that your aunt makes or whatever, don't eat them. Like, you don't need to try one of everything. It's okay. And maybe if you want to try one of everything, you don't have to have the whole thing. Like, have a bite and throw the rest out if it's not something that you like, just to appease the person, whatever. I don't think that this is super rude, and don't do it in a rude way on purpose. Don't say to people, I'm not trying your thing because I don't like it. Like, you just, say nothing, basically, and no one will really care. No one will really notice. It doesn't matter. Thankfully, I don't personally really deal with this, honestly, because like everything we make and we have like family-wise at our holidays is like amazing. So, there's nothing that's like, I don't really like that. But if there is ever, then I just like don't get that. And it's like not an issue. But I can't even think of something that's like regularly there that's like, not for me. If anything, we'll just have like too many things. Like, why do we have 6 cakes at Christmas? And like, okay, well, I'm not going to have 6 different cakes, but so it's not like not choosing, which is there's too many things. But big, Greek and Italian family, that's what we get. And it's amazing. And, we have the best food ever. So, there's that, and it's, what a blessing. Getting sidetracked. I forgot even what I was talking about, but yes, just not taking things that you don't want. And this especially extends to alcohol. If you don't want to drink, don't drink. This is something, it's like peer pressure in high school of kids telling you to drink, and older kids or whatever. Like, this happens still as adults. Like, just have another glass of wine, have another this, have that. It's like, you can just say no, and it's okay to just have one drink, or just have as many drinks as you want, but don't just do stuff because other people are doing it and then you feel guilty about it the next day. Like, you need to make decisions that are good for you, and you don't need to think about this like you're some better than everyone fitness person or anything like that. These just need to be unconscious thoughts. You need to decide what you want, what's going to make you feel good, and then be confident in making those decisions and saying no to the 4th glass of wine and saying no to the 6th cookie. And like, that's not a problem. It's not weird. No one really cares. Most of the time, people, one, they're just being generous, or they're just being hosts and want to see everyone with a drink in their hand or food on their plate or something like that. And so it's that. And 2, if it's like a more work thing, it's like people want their decisions validated. So if they're going to have 5 beers, they don't want to be the only one having 5 beers. So they want to convince someone else to have 5 beers so that they don't feel bad about the decisions that they're making. They don't actually care about you and what you're doing. They just want to validate themselves. So you can just say no to that stuff, and that's going to save you a ton of calories, a ton of headache, both literally and figuratively. And this is how we're going to maintain. Because remember, the same way that you don't need to push that hard in the gym for maintaining your like strength and hypertrophy gains, if you've been trying to lose weight for a while and you've been in a deficit, like, you get 300 to 500, maybe a little bit more calories to play with. Like, that's not an insignificant amount. And so you can actually eat quite a bit more and still maintain your weight, which is frankly a really good thing, because then it would be really hard to maintain your weight if that wasn't the case. So again, this all just comes back to thinking about making the decisions that are going to make you feel good, both physically and mentally, in the moments and hours after the event and the next day and maybe the next 2 days after the event. If you can make the decision that makes you feel good, more times than not, you're going to be solid. One more quick thing to mention, and this is not necessarily about like navigating events and stuff, but just navigating the season, is one thing that always happens, not always, but often happens, and makes the whole thing really difficult, is just getting sick. We're seeing lots of people, the weather's not that good, it's cold and flu season, all that kind of stuff. Do the basic things, like make sure you wash your hands, make sure you sleep well, make sure you drink enough water, all that stuff. Things that work for me, I'm not a doctor, don't pretend to be one, all that kind of stuff. Take your vitamin C, take your vitamin D, take your zinc. Take those 3 things, just regularly take them, which are things that you should be taking anyways. Like, there's no downside to doing that regardless. It's not going to make you not get sick ever, but it's going to make it less if you do get sick. Take those things and just pay attention. If you're starting to feel something coming on, bump up the dose a little bit and make sure you get your sleep. Make sure you're just taking care of yourself, because getting sick is going to derail the whole thing. You're going to miss more gym sessions. You're going to move less. It just spiral downwards. And obviously it's just not, like, weight things aside, it is not fun to have a cold and be sick and be missing out on events and missing out on things. So make sure you're keeping up with that and make sure you're taking care of yourself on those on that front. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, to sum it all up, try to keep your routine the same as much as possible and be okay with, like, taking a little bit of a step back in the intensity of that routine. And by routine, I mean your gym and your food and, like, all the things. And know that you can maintain on a lot less. Like, the opposite of weight loss isn't gain 15 pounds, right? It's not, I mean, I guess that is technically the opposite, but there's a long list of things in the middle of that. And, like, it's a lot easier to maintain. So if you can just focus on maintaining between now and January, basically, you're going to hit the ground running in January and you're going to feel great and you're going to feel happy about that. So, man, I feel like I spoke so fast in this one, but I hope this was helpful. All those good things. Enjoy the holidays coming up, whatever it is that you are celebrating, Thanksgiving and things coming up. Reach out if you need help. I'm always here. Yeah, appreciate you. Like, share, subscribe. All of those good things. Go outside. Be a good person. See you next time.